The following is a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.
Yowza! Good morning. Welcome to the Kurre and Klapow show.
Good morning.
We like those two guys from Scrubs. We're best friends.
We are.
So much so people think we could be gay.
Sure.
You know, those two guys from Scrubs are doing all the Verizon commercials.
Yeah.
So I pulled up this morning. I was like, "Are these guys really best friends?" Because on the show, they're best friends.
Right.
Black and white guys. It's perfect Americana.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Ebony and Ivory.
And I come to find out, and I find out they are best friends, and they're trying to do it. That Scrubs show was like ahead of its time. It was such a great show, and then they tried to bring it back, and it wasn't funny because they had it goes to show writers make the show.
Right.
If you don't have good writing, the chemistry can only get you so far.
Yeah, because it'd be right.
And it goes along perfectly with the Kristen McVie thing we'll talk about today, because she wrote, and now everyone's like, Fleetwood Mac would not be in existence without Kristen McVie. It would be, because it was in existence before.
Right.
When she was with Chicken Shack, the band in 1967, she was a fan of Fleetwood Mac. She used to open up for Fleetwood Mac.
Right, that's right.
They asked her to be in the band. And then Lindsay and then Stevie came on board like 3 or 4 years later. They weren't even in the band at the time.
See, that's an important factoid, right? Because
but everyone's saying if you go to their greatest hits album, she wrote 8 of the greatest hits. Stevie wrote 5. Lindsay wrote 3.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's always the thing. I mean, if you don't dive deep into the music of whomever, I know as somebody I would call myself more as a lay person when it comes to music.
Yeah.
I forget sometimes that whoever's singing it didn't necessarily write it. I mean, I don't.
Absolutely.
It's not something I think about my first thing. And then when you go look, you'll have a lot of artists who don't write their own stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? But when you do have an artist who also can write their own stuff. It's like an athlete who has multiple top skills.
For example, we did our AC/DC show last night, Live Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing. Angus and Malcolm write everything for AC/DC.
Right.
Brian Johnson, he wrote a couple songs, but not many.
It's not right.
But they write to his strengths.
Yep.
So they do, and if you've got a singer, we always think the singer writes all the songs.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
They may co-write. Now, Christy was a great singer in her own right. She was a bluesy singer. She picked up the piano, or she started playing the piano when she was like 4, and then she really took it under her wing like when she was 11. And I think a lot of people look at her solo efforts. She had like 3 solo albums. I think she had like a couple of hits. I remember playing a couple, but it wasn't like a Stevie Nicks kind of thing, or even a Lindsay Buckingham kind of thing. And I think they just think that she was like that extra piece. And so it gave us an opportunity. I didn't realize she was 79 years old. Stevie Nicks wrote a great letter to her. Saying, I didn't even know you were sick.
I was going to say, everybody is sort of saying that there was it
was a really short illness, and that she was, and she said Christy was her best friend, which is easy to say after someone dies. When we started doing this TKR thing, this Tony Curry Radio thing, 3 years ago, I was like, the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to lose everybody.
Yes.
We're going to lose Bob Seger. I don't mean to be morbid, but it's just the truth. Paul McCartney, Eric Clapton, Crosby, Stills Nash, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. We're going to lose all these huge rock and rollers. I mean, when Mick Jagger goes, it's going to take the news over for 3 or 4 days. We're in a fast news cycle, obviously, and a little churn. But like when Irene Cara dies early this week, she won a Grammy. But it was like, okay. But, when Kristen McVie dies, I don't think people realize what a huge hit that is to classic rock. The good thing is their music lives on forever.
Yep.
Will still be. And what's really weird is that Stinkin' Everywhere song, which is, I think it's on Nissan. I forget the card. And it's, the first time I saw it, I was like, that's kind of cool. It's not one of my favorite Fleetwood Mac songs. It's a little annoying.
Yeah.
And now it's like on everywhere, and you cannot not. You hear that song, it's a wormhole, man. It just, you keep singing.
Well, you know what's going to happen.
It's really bizarre that song came out right before she died.
What's going to happen is, we've talked about this with the advent of the internet and just digital music, how generation after generation adopts these songs kind of independently, right? So you have people our age who grew up with these songs, and then you got a generation before us, and maybe generation before, and maybe even a generation before that, right? And they they come upon the song, or they'll come upon very often a cover of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I think is so fascinating about this is, you know, it's a little morbid. Now that she's passed, there's a lot of headlines. Fleetwood Mac musical sort of pop up, right? Her musical pop up, and you're going to have 20-year-olds who maybe never heard the music before.
Well, and that's why you have 20-year-olds in the car commercial. They're making it look like a 23-year-old thinks that song was cool from 25 years ago.
I know.
And even the guys are like, dude, what are you doing singing that song? What's going to be really interesting is what they're going to do with that commercial. Do they need to put some type of rest in peace, Kristen McVie? I mean, the fact that, because a lot of politicians have used "Don't Stop."
Yeah.
We've had Mac music live. It lives in infamy and a lot of endorsement value. But with that particular song, the thing came out of nowhere.
Yep.
It wasn't. I mean, it was a hit, but it wasn't a huge hit. It wasn't anything like off of Rumors. But I wonder now when I see that, I'm gonna go, is that weird? They're using a person who's dead now, their music, so close to their death. I mean, she just died.
Yeah, but you had it before. They had it before she died.
Yeah, but I mean,
and it wasn't a cute.
I mean, it was almost released like they knew she was going to die.
No, they
and in marketing world, they go, "This is excellent. She just passed away. Everyone's going to want to hear that commercial." But it is a little the morbidity of it is kind of like. Okay,
yes, it is.
That's a little strange.
It is. They might. I mean, they might put a. They probably won't.
So where do you put? I'm a classic rock guy, and I'll tell you how I feel about it in a second. But where do you put Kristen McVie? If you had to give it a number from 1 to 100,
right?
Paul McCartney would be 98.
Yeah.
Because of his writings of the Beatles. I mean, he's still alive. Keith Richards, I put in the 90s. Mick Jagger, 97, 98. Eric Clapton in the 90s. Irene Cara in the 60s.
As a writer, or
just as the way, not only do we remember them, but their influence, their iconic status, and actually how important they were to their musical genre. Because Kristen McVie, I think a lot of people think, is around a 70, and it's only because she was in Fleetwood Mac, but she's really closer to like an 85.
Well, I think I feel like I'm not qualified to do that, but it's exactly what you
are qualified because you're the average dude.
Well, so the average dude, I would, before she passed and before I listened and read now all the impact, right? If she just passed and I hadn't had any more information about her, I'd be, because she's in Fleetwood Mac, 67. Like,
and that's
because what you just said, she wasn't she was superstar, definitely knew who she was, definitely obviously know the band, but she wasn't Stevie Nicks, right? So she didn't have of all the characteristics that you said, she didn't have if you will, the lead singer persona.
Yeah.
But then you asked me the question. We talk about this with sports all the time. The most valuable player. Yeah. Right? And so from an impact standpoint, now that I've read all this, and now that I'm like, oh my God, she's up in the 90s.
Like if Fleetwood Mac was coming to town, and you heard that Kristen McVie wasn't going to be with the band, you'd still want to go to the show.
Yeah.
If you knew Stevie Nicks wasn't going to be in the band, you go, I'm not going, or even Lindsey Buckingham. But Christy sang Over My Head, You Make Love and Fun, Don't Stop. I mean, she sang a lot of those songs. Now, can Stevie or someone else sing those? Yeah, I guess. And she also didn't have an incredibly distinct voice. When I hear her sing, I didn't go, that's Kristen McVie.
Right.
Stevie Nicks, undoubtedly. I mean, just because of the raspiness. Lindsey Buckingham, I could say. So, but really, the band would live on without Kristen McVie, but it shouldn't, is I guess what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I mean, we could go down a whole of all the bands. I think the bands to me that are the most interesting, most fascinating bands are where you have multiple members who sing lead on a variety of songs, even if there's sort of a key lead singer. Multiple members who sing lead and then write songs. This is always fascinating. Who write songs within the band that they don't necessarily sing lead on. Yeah. I mean, what's coming to mind, because they were just here in town, is the Eagles. Yeah. Like, the Eagles, like, I mean, Glenn Frey has passed, but, like, who's the lead singer in the Eagles?
That would be Don Henley. And
Skills
singing a bunch of stuff.
No, but, like, I mean, Glenn Frey was up, like...
They sang equally.
That's what I mean. That's what I think. That's what and to me, that makes the band much more interesting.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Christine McVie was. And yes, when I heard she passed, this is terrible. I mean, I felt bad that she passed. I wanted, like everybody else, why did she pass? What happened? It was acute illness. I didn't know she was ill. Blah 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 blah. And then instantly I thought, okay, here we go. Here's another one. Here's another one who's dropping next.
No, it's just, I mean, in a weird kind of way, I'm not glad she died, but it is a nice reminder of, hey, listen, all these people are in their upper 70s, early 80s, and it wouldn't be anything to have 3 or 4, because I could probably go through 150 of 80 plus in my brain right now,
can you believe that?
And it would be nothing if 3 of them died in 1 week.
But can you believe that? If you put that into perspective.
And it's a whole genre.
Right.
It's
It's not
classic
just-
rock
it-
genre.
yes.
Imagine if Vince Gill, Jason Aldean, and Kenny Chesney all died in the same week.
That's exactly. Yes.
I mean, if that happened all in 1 week, it would be like, holy shit, what just happened?
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happening in class. That's what's going to happen
I think
in
that's
classic
a
rock.
great analogy because it's not just musicians. Because the musicians pass for all kinds of reasons, from old age, whatever, but you're literally talking about a very well-defined, although we've had debates about it, but a very well-defined genre of music where I was thinking about this. We love to think about the music, classic rock music, just as this unbelievable, happy, driving, youthful kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But if you lined up, and I'm sure there's somewhere out there, lined up all the octagonarians in classic rock, I mean, it would look like, it could look like an assisted living home. Yeah. Or it would be like an advanced AARP commercial. Yeah. I mean, we think about the Rolling Stones, but we don't think about Mick Jagger being close to 80. We think about Fleetwood Mac. We don't think about Christine McVie towards the end of their life. Like,
it really is
crazy.
It really is amazing.
How old's Willie Nelson, just out of here? Like 98?
He's close to 90.
I mean, think about that. And they're touring.
I watched that Unexplained on the History Channel, and William Shatner does it. He's 90 years old, and he doesn't look a day over 70. I look at him and I'm like, I cannot believe he's 90.
That's a lot of makeup.
I mean, I go visit.
There's a lot of makeup.
I know, but I mean, he's cognitive. He's articulate.
Yep.
He speaks well. I mean, and I don't know if he's doing 15 takes for every line. But I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I mean, I go see a friend of mine. I go to Danbury, and visit a friend of mine who's, and I'm not saying that to get a pat in the back. She's a good friend of mine. Yeah. I probably get more out of her visits than she does. She turns 81 next week, and I'm thinking to myself, I can imagine her running 3 miles a night on stage playing guitar and singing her brains out. It's just crazy. It's amazing.
Think about yourself.
Yeah.
Think about yourself. No, think about yourself. We said this all the time. I mean, we could never do that. We're not in that kind of shape.
No, and to know what they put their bodies through in the 60s, 70s.
Well, that's exactly.
It's like.
I said this as a scientist, man. I would love to do. I would love to do genetic testing now while they're alive. Yeah. And then I'd love to do some post-mortem stuff to just look at these. I do believe, and I don't know that it's associated. It's really, God, that's so interesting. I'm geeking out right now. Is it associated with music? Is there a connection between music and longevity? I think there's some data to show that. But these musicians, as you said, it's not, and the ones we're talking about, they didn't live clean, healthy lives. Like, you hear about the studies of communities in Italy where, they've lived on the Mediterranean diet forever, but that's not what we're talking about here. And yet look at their relative longevity, and what I think is also interesting, not just their longevity, what they're doing in their 70s and 80s.
Let me ask you this, because you can make an argument that we lost a lot of rock and rollers who did die in their 60s and 70s. Are we catapulting the iconic value of these rock and rollers? I don't think so. Higher because they're living longer?
No.
Because normally if you die really young, your iconic status just goes.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, the 20th.
No, I don't think so. I think because I've heard you say this. I don't remember exactly how you said this, but I've heard you say this. They're still performing, and they're performing well, right? If you went to a Rolling Stones concert and Mick Jagger, I'm thinking Ozzy Osbourne. That's a whole other story. But you're thinking, no, but if Mick Jagger was on stage and you're like, oh God, he's kind of hobbling. Yeah. He's not hitting any of the notes. Uh-huh. Then you wouldn't say that he wasn't iconic, but you'd be like, But the fact that they're all performing now, even if it's more limited, even if maybe they're not running around as much, it's still an entertaining concert. To me, that makes it even more iconic.
Yeah. When you talk about, and I saw this, I think I brought it up, like Gordon Lightfoot is still on the road. And some people just are loving the fact that he's still performing. Other people are like, I can't believe I just spent $100 to see him sing because he can't hit any notes. James Taylor will be a huge one for me. I mean, I'll cry when he dies.
I do that
but he sits there on stage, and he stands there. When you're talking about Angus, you're talking about Paul McCartney to an extent, moving around the stage. I try to think about some of the older rock and rollers like the Kenny Rogers. They just stood there.
Right.
B.B. King sat in a chair, for 45 minutes, and then he walked on. But these guys that still walk up and down the stage and
just
stuff,
walking.
I know.
Just walking.
Without a walker with the tennis balls in the bottom of the walker, I mean, it's like, shit, how are they doing it?
Well, hang on.
And not tripping and falling.
I was not tripping and falling.
Jimmy Buffett, for God's sakes, walked off the front of the stage when he was 70 and he's still on the road. I'm like, what the hell? That dude walked off the stage and scattered.
I was going to say, so walking and not falling, walking and singing and not falling, and in some cases, not all of them, walking, singing, and playing an instrument.
And they're traveling from city to city.
Right.
They're living in strange beds. They're eating really bad road food.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Unless they choose to.
Yeah.
By the way, did you hear about
David Crosby is? Just think about some of these guys who are on the road for 200 nights a week.
Right.
We talk about Major League Baseball players who are 32 who complain about, and they're playing down at the wharf when it's 99 degrees in the middle of.
You're right.
Normally for us, I mean, as fans, we're bitching and fit. We're just so fucking hot out here. It's 99 degrees. Well, think about damn Peter Frampton, who's 70 years old up there, who just stayed at a Motel 6 last night.
Well, first of all, he didn't stay at a Motel 6. I'm going to give you. Okay, listen. I really doubt that at that level they're staying at Motel 6. But you're absolutely right. I never thought about it this way. When
but your Arcadian rhythm's still off. It doesn't matter whether you're staying at empty suites. You're still on the road.
Yeah.
You're sleeping on buses.
But you do adapt to some degree. Although when you get older, obviously, you're more used to it. It's harder when you get older. You and I talked about this with the World Cup team, right? Playing at 11 o'clock at night. I've talked about this with, particularly in the NBA and rookies. They was like, oh my God, you guys are NBA players. What you don't hear is the midnight planes arriving at 3 a.m., your sleep cycles off, etc. But you're absolutely right. When you get older, those are things that are more fragile. They're more critical to your ability to perform. But see, I think, I don't know, you would know. We should call Damon Johnson. We should ask Damon this.
He's our age, and he's still and he talks about how hard it is to be on the road.
Right.
That's why he got off. That's why he stopped going to the Thin Lizzy thing and he got off the road with Alice Cooper because he wanted to be home with his family. And quite frankly, it was wearing him down. Now, of course, he's back on the road doing the Brother Kane thing and playing with Leonard Skinner. So, but he's got a regimen. I mean, he works out.
You've heard him. He's got a regimen. He's got a voice regimen. But that's what I'm saying. I cannot believe, other than Keith Richards.
Yeah. There is a Space of the Day show at Workplay. I want to mention that before I forget. Yep. Tommy Williams, a good friend of mine, of course, one of our great sponsors here of Tony Kurre Radio and the Kurre and Klapow show. Space of the Day show going on tomorrow night. It's only $15. It's an atmospheric kind of alternative classic rock guitar kind of thing. It's just it's called Space of the Day. Check it out. Go to their website, workplay.com, and check it out. $15. I mean, for $15, even if you don't like the show, it's worth it. But it's going to be great.
I just went through a Christmas drive-through.
And they got something coming up. I think it's on December 30th. Don't quote me on this. That I want to take you to if you're in town.
Yeah, I'm in town.
The Mavericks Lounge. They're doing the history of grunge. They're going to be playing Soundgarden stuff, Nirvana stuff. Yeah, it's going to be really, really good. So check out Workplay and workplay.com. I want to talk about women topless on beaches here in a second.
You're always talking about that.
It's also Bartender Appreciation Day.
That's nice.
And I have a list of holiday gifts. Everyone's like, they got these great gifts. And we buy like bread makers. There's this thing now they're trying to sell us that grows lettuce on your counter. It grows
nice. Hydroponic stuff.
Hydroponic.
I had a bread maker back in the day.
Yeah, you used it like for a week. It was great.
I used tons of Benedict.
It's like air fryers. You use them one time.
Oh, no.
Or a turkey fry.
No, a turkey fryer is dumb because you got to pay for the oil.
So I've got a list of stuff that's actually
useful,
really good. Yeah.
Okay.
And for some reason, I was on my phone this morning, and a blunt roller came up. A blunt rolling machine came up on my phone. I was like, why is a blunt rolling machine coming up on my phone? Maybe 20 years ago. It rolls joints for you.
Oh, blunt. Oh. Came up on your phone.
Yeah.
Because you were thinking about it.
I wasn't searching anything about blunts. I wasn't searching anything. I don't do drugs. I was like, and I don't. So I was like,
what?
It rolls joints for you.
No, I know, but what feed?
Huh?
Was it
Facebook?
Facebook?
It was on New York Post.
Oh, just as an ad.
Yeah, but it popped right up.
Yeah.
It also rolls cigars.
There you go. Okay.
Maybe it was a cigar thing. So we'll talk about. Got some great. There's one on here that I don't want to mention because I want to get it for you for Christmas. It's hilarious. It's great. You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Freudian slippers. They're slippers, and they've got
quotes on them.
It looks like Freudians on the front of the slippers. It's this Muppet looking Freud.
It looks like Freud?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They're called Freudian slippers. Isn't that funny?
That's totally funny.
I'll get this for Christmas.
That's great.
I didn't tell you. So we'll talk about that. And also, I don't know if you saw this story. It showed up like 3 or 4 times. Have you seen these stowaways? These 3 stowaways were captured on the rudder of an oil tanker. And they went 2,200 miles, 11-day voyage from Nigeria to the Canary Islands on the rudder of an oil tanker. The rudder was above the water.
Okay.
They could have their feet hanging over, so it was roughly touching the ocean. And they would crawl up inside of the hole into the rudder area to sleep one at a time, and then they'd come back down. But for 11 days, they rode the rudder of. That's how bad people want to get the hell away. They were going to the Canary Islands. They were coming to the United States. That's how bad people want to escape their situations. Can you imagine?
We need that.
We've seen people get on airplane wheelbases, you know. We've seen people obviously go across rivers.
But think about that. Just think about
a rudder of an oil tanker.
So think about.
I don't know if I'd get on the deck of an oil tanker for 11 days, let alone the rudder.
You wouldn't. But think about where your circumstance. And how you see your circumstance to do that would have to be to do that. Because think about it this way. Whatever their situation was, they believed that situation was worse than being on a rudder of a tanker for, what did you say,
11 days.
So think about that.
With no water.
Right.
Nothing.
So think about how desperate you must evaluate what you're in now to choose that. Like you got to stop and think of
it's unbelievable.
There is nothing you or I. Obviously, there's nothing that we've experienced, but there is nothing we could probably even fathom, because we can make up all these stories. We can make up persecution and torture, whatever, but we're not connected to it. And I mean, my God, it's one thing. I mean, we hear about refugees all the time getting in essentially rowboats and coming across, but the planning of that.
Yeah.
And oh my God, talk about count your blessings. Talk about being grateful.
Man, on a dare, I wouldn't even do it for like an hour.
And you're a guy.
First of all, how the hell do you get on the rudder?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Tank?
And so this is not, and that's the other thing.
It's a movie, man. It's a movie. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a movie. But that's the other thing that's so amazing about this. It's not an impulsive, we were hanging out and we realized, oh my God, we got to get out of here, so we're going to jump on the rudder.
Yeah, it's not like they had suitcases and stuff either, even cash.
No, this is Shawshank Redemption. Like this is, we have to plan this, and we have to plan it so intricately to escape from our existing situation.
Yeah. It's crazy. Anyway, I saw the story and I just want to bring it up. I don't want to sound like a get off my lawn moment here, but
here we go. That's a great segment.
We just went through this, or we're still going through this whole Me Too movement and the sexualization, the objectification of women, and how guys pull back the creep value, get rid of your lizard brain, be more respectful, and we're still seeing it. We're seeing it at NFL teams. I got an email that I read to Mission Minded's Michael Coleman the other day about a woman. She's in Jacksonville, Florida. She's very attractive. She takes care of herself. She does not wear revealing clothing. No one's said anything nasty to her. No one's touched her in her office, but she feels like she's being stared at. She's being gawked at. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and she works at a firm with all men, and she's like, I've never been touched. Yep. No one's ever said anything nasty to me, but I feel really uncomfortable.
I totally get that.
I do too. And she's like,
well, actually, we shouldn't say that.
Yeah, because we don't know. We would love that as men to be gawked at and stared at.
Do you see? Wait. Yeah. Do you know? Why did we just say that?
We can't speak about what it's like to be a black person either, because we're not.
I have been gawked at. I have been gawked by both men and women.
Yeah.
Or gawked is not the right word. I have been working out and been being watched, and I'm not saying this is an ego thing. By both men and women, it is one of the most uncomfortable.
And I don't think people know they're doing it sometimes. I really don't.
Right.
People may look at you. Sometimes people hear my voice, and I'll feel people. Yeah, and I get off on that because
that's different. That's different.
But you've been on television, and so people may recognize.
Yeah, but this was being checked out.
Yeah,
and it made me, and they didn't say a word.
Yeah,
and very uncomfortable.
So, you get on any social media platform. We mentioned this the other day. I'm getting
it's Twitter.
Twitter notifications from these women who are saying, boy, my breasts are warm today, and then there's no pictures or whatever, and it's getting retweeted 1,800 times. They have 200,000 followers. They're very attractive, and I'm like, and they just write one lines, like, look at these bowl of grapes. You could literally they could literally write, look at this bowl of grapes, and of course, you've got 75 responses. I'd like to see your grapes, or I'd like to feed those grapes to you, blah, 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 blah.
Elon knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know why, because I don't follow these people. I don't know why they're showing up on my feed. And so it's like, why is this stuff showing? And I don't follow. I make sure I don't follow them because I'm tired of seeing their stuff.
That's why the blunt thing's coming up on the.
I don't know. Again, I don't know why it's showing up. I don't look for that stuff. So wherever you go, and you get on Facebook, and I mentioned Facebook, which we're on right now. My top, and I've got a lot of friends, and I don't know a lot of my friends. If someone follows me, I usually follow them back, and then I kind of go through a purging process where I'll get rid of a bunch to bring somebody. But my top line, their storyline, it's all these women with low-cut stuff in their cars with the camera up here.
Sure.
Have a wonderful day. Happy hump day. And I'm like, okay, we know what's going on here, right? We know exactly. You're trying to get followers. I get that. So, and I'm broad brushing here, but for the most part, women keep saying, I don't want to be objectified. I don't want to be stared at. I don't want to be sexualized. But then look at this wonderful picture of me. Please retweet if you want to see more. Let me finish. Okay. And I know I'm broad brushing here.
No, it's not that you're not
because there are some women that totally objectify their bodies. They're like, look all you want, and I'm on OnlyFans. I'm on Instagram. I'm an Instagram model. I want to get followers. I want to make a lot of money. And then, of course, they want to be known for something else. Well, don't forget I'm a school teacher. Don't forget I'm a doctor. I'm like, too late. It's too late. Once you go sexual. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying that you should not be recognized or respected for your field of skill or whatever it is. But once you go, that's the whole gymnast from LSU. That's where the coach said, listen, you're taking 2 steps back for the women's movement by sexualizing your body. People aren't going to remember you as a gymnast. They're going to remember you for this now. And she's getting a hell of a lot more followers because she's wearing scandal-clad stuff. So this woman was secretly photographed while topless sunbathing in Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
She's revealed the pathetic lie given by one of the men who circulated photos of her online. All except one of the men involved in the taking and distributing of the explicit photos in Sydney, Australia, of a personal trainer named Lily Cook deny any wrongdoing, with one clinging to what she said is a blatant lie. One of the perpetrators is claiming he was simply taking a photo of the broader landscape of the beach in Vanclose, Sydney's east, and captured Cook by sheer coincidence.
I'm sorry, God. That's pathetic.
Cook, who shared the pictures of her topless sunbathing on Instagram, told 2 Days FM's Hugo C. Ed and Aaron in the morning, was ultimately powerless in the eyes of the law because the men refused that they did any wrongdoing.
Right.
The issue is they had police get a warrant to go through their phones. I think it would have been a little different, but because the person that took the photo said they took it in a public place, and it was a public beach, and the person that distributed it, even though he admitted it to it, refused to make a statement, so we're kind of stuck.
Was it a topless beach?
Obviously, it was.
Well, again, depending.
Yes, yes. In Sydney, Australia, you can. Yeah,
Wow.
there's a lot of nude beaches in this world. They're all over Spain. They're all over Brazil. There's a lot of different places where you go. And evidently, I guess she's known in Australia because she's a personal trainer.
Oh, so she's already known. She has a little bit of celebrity.
But if you pull up Lily Cook, you really don't find anything. So I'm not sure.
So
but
she's
not
a
personal trainer, but she's not like a really well known.
She is now.
She's not like Julian Huff or something.
She is now.
Yeah, and so.
Is this your old man? Where are you going to go with this? I don't know where you're going to go.
No,
with
I'm
this.
like, if you don't want people to circulate pictures of you topless, then don't be topless.
Come on.
If you're in a public place, no, wait, hold on a sec. Because there was something the other day, I forget what it was, for some movement, where 2,000 people showed up nude in a park. I don't know what it was for.
Free the nipple?
No, it was, I forget what it was. It really had nothing related to the human body at all.
Oh.
It was like we want bicycles on our streets or something. I'm making that up. But it was a movement that had nothing to do with them being naked, but they knew that a lot of people would be interested in their protest because you're going to have 2,000 naked people in this park. And obviously, with phones now and cameras, people are taking pictures all the place and stuff's being circulated on social media. And I'm thinking to myself, if you don't want to be circulated on social media, now, like on Carnival Cruise Lines, I don't know if you're aware of this, they have a topless deck.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the last time I took a Carnival Cruise Line, I found out my last day, it was too late. There explicitly is a sign that says no photography, no pictures taken on the deck. But if you want to lay out naked on top of a Carnival Cruise Line, you have to ask for it. It's kind of like the nasty videos at your video store. Hey, it's in the back door. Go back there and don't tell anyone we have it, right? It's where the machines actually pay as opposed to the bigger machines up front that don't. And I'm thinking to myself, again, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. And there are creeps out there, and there are people that if you're attractive, they're probably going to take your picture. I've been on many a nude beach when I traveled abroad for the Olympics. I actually was with my ex at one point and said, feel free to
Was this
do whatever you
pre?
want.
But this was pre-cell phones, right?
Yeah, it was. It was. And so that should be another... Hey, if you're laying nude on a beach, more than likely someone's going to take a picture.
Okay. This is the personal responsibility thing, so I would flip it on you. You're saying, and I understand what you're saying, if you're going to be nude on a beach in this day and age, where there are cameras, and people have cameras...
And let me just say this. It's unfortunate because it's everywhere. You can see whatever you want easily on the internet. Okay, so if this was the 1970s, then I could see where maybe you're getting a get. You're getting a picture of something that normally you would not see. Now you can see whatever you want anytime you want to see it, which is really unfortunate. And I think it's desensitized us to the whole idea of. But continue.
No, what I was going to say is, so on the one hand, I understand what you're saying. You're saying, if you're out there doing anything, someone could take your picture and distribute it.
Yeah.
Whether you're nude, not nude, just walking down the street.
Yeah.
But then, so flip it on the other side. And to me, this is the more interesting thing. This is about personal responsibility, because you're sort of alluding to personal responsibility on her side, right? If you're going to go take your shirt off, and there's a chance that you will get, so it's up to you to make a decision. I'm going the other way. I'm going to go the other way.
All right.
For the love of God, do you really need to go take a picture of somebody who is nude and distribute it?
Of course not.
Well, right. So
but we know there's a million creeps.
But we can say that all day long. There's been creeps. People sin every day. We're all broken. Blah blah blah.
I'm not saying whether you should do it or not. I'm just saying it's going to happen.
No, but what I'm saying is But so what do we do? Do we tell people, don't take your shirt off. Don't wear anything too scantily. Don't, if you're a guy, see, guys, the problem with guys, we don't have anything.
We have
There's nothing. I mean, But that's the point. Is now this comes back to personal.
Well, let me ask you this: you lived out in L.A. in the Los Angeles area in Venice Beach. People took pictures, right? And they post. I'm sure people post pictures of guys working on a Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, but guys can go shirtless where they want.
Patriarchy.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want.
I would say that if you're going to go somewhere where you want to, if it's really important to you that you bathe topless, whether it's because you don't want tan lines or whatever. It's
but that's what I mean. Like,
but in a public place, anything goes. I mean, that's just the way it is. The fact that she's trying to, and now this guy's obviously taking it to another level.
Right.
We're going to find out it's probably her ex-boyfriend or something. This guy wants to make sure her picture gets out there, and he's posting those pictures.
That's terrible.
Where I do have an issue is if you're on a private boat.
Yeah.
We've seen celebrities that are on private boats, where they're topless, and you got these paparazzi creeps that are shooting, videos and cameras from hundreds of yards away to get. We've seen it with politicians.
Yes.
We've seen it. A woman comes out of her balcony in Spain, and she's got a robe on, and next thing you know, and there's all these creepy sites. I don't know. I guess lesson learned. Here's the thing: is and again, a lot of guys are commenting on this. If you're afraid of it being out on social media and being circulated out on social media, well, you're already circulating by being topless on a beach. Everyone can see you. I could walk down there and look at you anytime I want.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
The fact that you have video
There's a
evidence.
difference. But that's the thing. Okay, so now
it takes the creep value from a 1 to a 10.
But okay, so then should we not have topless beaches, or should we say enter at your own risk?
I think there are signs that say enter at your own risk. It's too easy now. I mean, in the 70s, 80s, we didn't have phones.
So just.
It is sad. It's creepy. And she doesn't look like any other topless woman on a beach. So it's like I didn't even know who she was.
All right, so I guess what I'm saying, who's it on? And that's what I'm saying is it's on the creeps.
Yep.
It's and I don't like.
Unfortunately, there's nothing she can do about it.
But I don't like the I don't like the excuse of, well, there's a bunch of creeps out there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's nab them.
I'm just stating a point. Nab them for what? For taking a picture of a woman on a nude beach?
And distributing them? We should talk to Jeff Hammond.
See, you know what?
See, if you distribute it, can you do that?
You can do whatever you want.
No. If you take the picture, take the picture, but then can you distribute it? Defamation of character.
Yeah, I mean, I could take a picture of Mayor Woodfin today and distribute it all I want. I could put it out there as many times as I want.
What if he was naked?
That's up to him.
Well, you're right, where he was naked. If he was naked in Park.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point. If you are in a compromising position, in this particular case you're being topless, even if it's a topless beach, you have to know that people are probably going to be taking pictures.
Yeah.
Period. If you're
well, and you're right. So you're right. This is where.
Now, if this is a private club where there's walls.
Right. This is what,
you can fly a drone over, I guess, if you want. But if you're on a public topless beach and someone takes your picture and go, man, and maybe this guy didn't even know who she was,
right?
And said, man, you're not going to believe this hot woman I saw on the nude beach, and he's got one of these creep websites, and there's millions of them.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing. If you don't use if you don't use a name, I'll bet you there's a legal, because we're not lawyers, although we talk about a lot of legal stuff. But I'll bet you there is a legal line that can get crossed where it starts entering into defamation of character. What I mean by that is not just posting it, but maybe posting it and making comments, finding out her name and stating her name, and then making comments. I mean, at that point, there's probably a illegality to it.
Yeah, I know.
If you're defaming her,
I know from Jeff Hammack's standpoint, because we had him on our show.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Enough, and he was one of our great sponsors. In a public place, anything goes. If you're in a public place, he can take surveillance all he wants.
No, I'm not talking about the surveillance. I'm talking about what you do with it afterwards.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you then go and create a persona about her, which slams her character in an inaccurate way, I bet you got a lawsuit.
Then I would say,
I bet you got a lawsuit.
And I say it's just unfortunate because you can do whatever you want. I would say you need to think about that before you go topless or do anything precarious in a public place, because in this day and time there are 14 billion cameras that are all on our phones, and people are going to take pictures of it. If you walk naked down the street in 20th Street today, it's going to be circulated. Of course,
but that's different. It's different because you're walking down 20th Street naked.
And that would be illegal. So people would probably do that. So
That's the end of Tony's get off my lawn moment.
no, I'm just.
If
you don't want people to see it, don't show it.
And but I mean, no, stop being creeps, man. Stop being creeps.
Well, that's
don't.
really
We can't control it. We can't control it. We don't know what we're doing.
No, I'm not saying we can. No, we can control it. We can do it. But what I'm saying is, creeps ain't going away, Josh. So we need to figure it out. One day we're going to stop being creeps. That doesn't work.
So what
You're telling some guy who owns a porn site right now, stop doing that. It's not right. Okay.
So what should we do too? Should we tell her it's your own fault?
I'm just saying you got to protect yourself.
Fault?
You know, my whole saying is you don't run through a jungle with pork chop underwear. If you don't want something out there, then don't run through the jungle with pork chop underwear. Don't go in a bad part of town with $100 bills hanging out of your pocket. You're going to get robbed. And it's unfortunate we live in that world, but that's what it is because it's out there. And with it, obviously there's a lot more of it. Now, hell, we had Elvis Presley couldn't swivel his hips on television. Well, now, I mean, you can't watch a show without someone swiveling. I see cheerleaders at football games twerking. I mean, that's the world we live in.
You ever tried to twerk?
No, it looks very painful.
I don't think I can't do it. I've tried.
I was watching an NFL game the other day, and they were slapping their own asses. The girls were.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's
a cowboy thing.
I think it was the Cowboys.
Of course, well, they weren't slapping. No, you could do that. I told you.
They were doing the pelvic thrust thing, and I'm like, do we even see this, really?
Yes.
And of course,
Go to a youth cheerleading competition. You already talked about this. You got 6-year-olds twerking.
Oh my gosh! And the whole, what's that thing they do?
I don't know. That's not a good look for you.
Yeah, what do they call it? The floss. The floss.
Oh yes.
God. I went to a football game the other day. By the way, I'm talking to Mark Ingram this morning at 10 o'clock.
Breaking news.
And
first
public interview, and I asked him if he would make the announcement of the new head coach last week, and he said, I'll try. They announced it yesterday that Trent Dilfer is going to be the head coach of the UAB Blazers, which I think is just a wonderful hire. He's only coached for 4 or 5 years, I guess, at Lipscomb. I think he was 48-8. But he brings a brand, he brings a name, he brings the NFL relevancy to the program, and I'm like, I can't believe they got it. I can't believe they hired him. And it was a name that I was outside the box. I heard about Skip Holtz, I heard about Brian Vincent. I know there was an open letter from the football team, but it's a better hire than Auburn getting Hugh Freeze.
Oh yeah, well that's what I think's interesting about it.
I mean, when you look relative to where the program is and how important it is in the Group of 5 as opposed to Power 5, the upside of going to the AAC, the new stadium, everything, it is a home run. It is a 101 out of 100 hires.
Although, you know what, so just for a second.
And the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, I was going to say, just for a second, to dive into the psychology of this, particularly given the open letter, which I did not know about, but you told me. So when you have a team write an open letter that says, we want the coach that we've had, we don't want this new coach.
And they love Brian Vincent, and I'm hoping Brian Vincent will still be on the team. I don't know if he wants to be on the team. I don't know if this is going to be a Cadillac Williams things where, hey, you were the interim coach, you got us through the year after Bill Clark retired, and we want to keep you on.
Well, you could even argue, you could argue the same scenario could be playing out at Auburn.
I'm betting Trent Dilfer, and I'll ask Mark Ingram this today, I'm betting that Trent Dilfer will figure out a way to at least encourage Brian Vincent to stay on his staff in some capacity.
Well, so
because if the players are writing an open letter saying this is our guy and we've never been closer, the interesting thing is this happens at every business at every level. Hey guys, we're bringing in a new GM.
Yep.
Or we're bringing in a new boss. We value your opinion. Yep. You're a very this business is all about its people. Without you guys, this business is nothing. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so your input is very, very important. Does anyone have any ideas? Thank you. We'll get back to you.
Yep.
And then they throw it in the trash can, and they're off doing their own
thing.
No. For the most part. Because
no, they don't. No.
I'm not listening to the inmates. The thing is this is not a democracy. This is a business.
Yes.
We need a guy, and I'm the athletic director. He's the president. We know you're the players. You have a role to fill. You win your box relative to blah, 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 the process. You're not the ones who are making the hires. You're not the ones who are stroking the checks. We appreciate your input, thank you. But more than likely, listen, when Mike Price didn't even coach one game, and they had that whole situation down in Florida, wherever it was, and the players are on television saying, we want Mike Price. We please. And they were crying. And I was like, no, that ain't happening. And it was the best thing in the world they didn't hire him, because we found out that Mike Price wasn't who we really thought Mike Price was. With Trent Dilfer, I think, and hopefully these players will look at that and go, wow, this is
Well, but that's what okay, so that's where I was going with this, is the setup of this, you do see in organizations, you see it outside athletics. Hey, we loved this president or this CEO, and the board got rid of them.
Yeah.
Or they retired, whatever, and we're bringing someone new in. Mm-hmm. We value your opinion. And I work with a lot of CEOs, I work with a lot of venture capitalists, I work with a lot of boards. And the whole value your opinion, it is important to get the input, but it's also important to communicate, we value your opinion and we do want to take that into consideration. It doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to choose what you want, because you just said it, we have to think about a broader perspective. Yeah. We have to think about sports as a business. We got to think about the PR. We got to think about all this sort of things. So right now, UAB, and to some extent, I mean, they haven't been public about it, but Auburn, it's the same sort of thing. What you do wonder is, will the team come around? Now you can slam on the team, and you can also slam on the player and say, look, you're playing college ball. This is your opportunity, regardless of the coach. This is your opportunity to play. For some of you, it's your opportunity to transition into the big time. Mm-hmm. So on one angle, you can almost say, look, you need to be your best independent of the coach. Sure. And you can be upset. But what I think is so interesting, particularly in both cases, both universities, where the interim coach was beloved. Mm-hmm. Now you bring the new guy in, both of whom have huge names. It's still on them, though, now to win these guys over.
Exactly. And what I find is when players will always be behind their coaches. And I think about the West Virginia situation with Bill Stewart. When Bill Stewart came in towards the end of the season, old guy, they loved him. Right. And they loved him so much that they made the hire. Well, Bill Stewart turned out to be nothing. But he was one of them. Because these kids are there for 2 or 3 years and they're gone. Right? And we have this idea that if you really like the coach, he's playing for the coach. No, he's not. Right. No, they're not. First of all, the coach has got to put you in the position to win. They have to put you. They have to give you the right game plan to be in the right position to make the play. I would certainly make an argument that if you really wanted Brian Vincent to be your coach, then you should have won 9-3 this year instead of 6-6.
Well, that's an interesting thing.
He was a lame duck.
Whose fault is that?
There was the game I went to. They had 7 false starts. That's not on coaching.
No. I always talk about that. No, I agree with you.
Then you should have gone 6-6. Yeah, you went to a bowl game. You're going to the Bahamas. That's great. But if you really wanted your coach to end up, and I think if he had a successful year, Brian Vincent would have been the coach. Well, we talked to him at the beginning of the season. I said, man, you're in a really tough position here. And he's like, listen, I understand that UAB is going to make a hire at the end of the year, and I appreciate the opportunity to be the head coach UAB, as opposed to just saying, hey, listen, you're going to be out at the end of the year regardless. They gave him every opportunity to win his way into that coaching position, and he's been there for 5 or 6 years, and they love him. There's a lot of coaches too, and I'm not saying Brian Vincent's in this boat. There's a lot of coaches who are great assistants. Mike Shula.
Yep.
Great assistants, but not head coaching material. I'm not saying that about Brian, and I know Brian. I think he's a great guy, and I hope that he still has a job, and he may end up getting a job somewhere else. This could be a God thing for him, where this door closed, but the fact that he was actually up for this position will open up the door at another institution to go coach, and I wouldn't blame him for leaving and taking that opportunity. But I think the Trent Dilfer thing, the fact that he's on TV, everyone knows who he is. The name, I thought, wow, that's a huge splash for UAB, so kudos to them. Talk about one of our great sponsors. I'm going to give you some wonderful gift ideas. I found this great site called It's Thoughtful.com. Yeah. Dude, and the prices are good. And I'll give you a couple of these wonderful things, including your 40-inch slippers. But talk about one of our great sponsors here on the Kurre and Klapow.
One of my faves, John Gray from Driscoll Gray. Got my end-of-the-year appointment with him. I think it's December 14th. We have a call. John he's more than a financial advisor. I mean, yes, if you're just starting out and you want to figure out how to maximize your money, John is a certified financial planner. And the thing that I think is so interesting about John and good financial planners is financial planners are not just investing your money into mutual funds. That's not what he does. I'm sorry. He does do that, but he's also looking at your entire life, the income you're bringing in, the debt that you have, kids, divorces, whatever, and he's helping you make financial decisions. And then what's so great about John Gray at Driscoll Gray is he also not just helps you make, it's like the consultant. He doesn't say, you really should do this. Mm-hmm. Bye-bye. He says, well, you should really do this. Here's what I think is the best for us. And then he takes the ball and runs with it. He will make the investment. He will do the research. He makes it so that your financial situation is not only optimized, but you're not doing the legwork that you don't know how to do.
Yep.
And that's why you need to contact John Gray. Go to his webpage, driscollgray.com.
Yeah, you day traders keep trying to do that.
You're right. You're right, yeah.
I got $30,000. I want to figure out how to make it into $1 million within a year.
Yeah, call John
Go
Gray.
buy that penny stock.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, so I mentioned this morning I got this pop-up of it's a cigar, it's a cigar or cigarette roller.
Oh.
I remember being over my grandpa's house. We used to watch Reds games. It was only like when the Reds were on like once a year on a Monday. And I remember my grandpa rolling his own cigarettes. I fondly remember swallowing that tobacco and he'd roll his own cigarettes. It just was a pleasant
That's some
memory.
wiki shit, dude.
He was, he could roll a tight cigarette. So I saw this blunt rolling machine, which makes a lot of sense because obviously everyone's.
Well, marijuana's legalized.
Well, not here. It's not.
Not
in the great state of Alabama. We have no lottery, no gambling, no weed. I don't like it.
We don't even
Sticking
have
our heels in.
We were going to have the production for the production or the growth of marijuana for medicinal purposes, which we do have medicinal purposes here. But yeah, I got a lot of friends in California and Colorado and other, and it's that. That's exactly how they do it. Like,
pretty brilliant idea though, because if everyone's getting the stuff and you don't want to do the weed, the gummy type of thing or whatever, and you medicinally for your glaucoma or for your cancer treatment or for recreational purposes, this is a great machine. Virgin Experience Gifts will give you a ride. You can drive your own Lamborghini for $478 for 30 minutes.
Virgin, what is it?
It's called Virgin Experience Gifts.
Oh, for how long?
30 minutes. You get to drive a Lamborghini for $478. That's a great gift.
Just drive it around. It's like a rental?
It's at a racetrack.
Oh, at a racetrack. It's like Barber does that.
Yeah.
But with a Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever wanted to drive a Lamborghini?
I've been in a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
They're not very comfortable.
They're true. Amazing clubs.
You
like that?
No, I am a member. I have been getting Amazing Club. Well, go ahead. Say what Amazing Clubs is.
Jerky of the club. Jerky of the month. Man, there are so many different types of jerky. I was at Home Depot the other day and I got some jerky just because I really want some protein. And everyone loves protein, and you think it's relatively healthy for you. But there are so many stinking types of jerky. Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's has got like 3,000 different types of jerky.
Well, not only do they have a wall of jerky,
they have a wall of bacon too, don't they?
Yeah, they have a wall of jerky. But then I sent the video to you. It's a jerky deli.
Yeah.
Like you pick out a slab of I like some pastrami. Yeah. But Amazing Clubs. So I'm a member of Amazing Clubs because for the last, and I need to renew for the last, almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
I get my mom a year of stuff, and the thing about Amazing Clubs is really cool. And this is not an endorsement. Well, it's not a paid endorsement. Is they let you access all kinds of different clubs. Mm-hmm. So like 1 month I can get my mom beef jerky, and another month the next month she gets dog toys or dog treats, and then she gets donuts and whatever.
I have never been part of a monthly club.
This is the only
but I would think that it'd be kind of fun. There is also Sock Panda has Daring and Bold Socks of the Month Club, where you get a new pair of bold or daring socks, crazy socks. Everyone's into crazy socks now. And they don't have to match anything you're wearing.
Nope.
The crazier the socks, the better.
I'll bet they have a huge uptick in that. That's so interesting that you said that just for a second. When the pandemic and nobody was going anywhere, it's from here up. Like, sure. I got shorts. But now everybody's getting back out, and I've had this. Yeah. Now that I'm back in this studio at WBRC, I was the other day. I was like,
you have to wear pants.
I was like, where the hell are my pants?
You have to put your pants back on. Right. Also from Thoughtful is a personalized Donald Trump dartboard. This is pretty cool. If you're a big Donald Trump fan, and I know a lot of people are watching, but they put your name on top of it, and then it's got all of his famous sayings. It's huge. I'm not doing that dumbass.
Yes.
And it's on the dartboard, and you can actually throw darts, and then his face is right there at the bullseye.
That's for your fan. Now that's hang on.
It could be for a person that hates Donald Trump. This is something I thought
I'm gonna
about.
get that for George.
A collapsible water bottle.
Yeah, we have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
I know.
It can get this big, but you pull it up and it's
squishy.
It's kind of hard to clean.
No, it's when you hold it.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm holding this, and imagine holding it. It's like an amoeba.
Oh.
Yeah.
They have custom. This is through. It's thoughtful. Customized vinyl records. You can actually, they'll make a vinyl record, and you write the titles of the songs and put your name on it, and puts Warner Brothers.
So it does song list.
It'll do a song list for you. If you tell them what songs you want to put on your record, and it looks like like a.
Can we just
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
Can we just have 30 seconds to step back and be old?
Sure.
Just imagine when we were kids. You buy an album.
Mm-hmm.
It already had the songs on it.
Yeah.
You had the 3 or 4, maybe the ones that had been released, and you loved it, and then you listened to the rest of them, hoping that you'd love them, and some of them grew on you.
Well, if you had an album when they had at least 2 songs on it you liked, you just assumed you were going to like the rest of it.
That's right.
The risk you took was when you bought it for one song.
And the rest of it was like...
Because I could buy the 45 for 99 cents.
Yeah,
or I
see,
could
this is where I'm
spend
going.
$7.99 for the entire album. But certainly if I liked this one song, and then if you didn't like the rest of the album, then you'd accidentally scratch it and take it back.
Okay. But can you imagine, put yourself back in the day, and I said to you, Tony, tell me however many, 10 songs that you love.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I'm going to put it on a record for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? And you'd be like, wait, one record? Oh yeah, all the songs that think about it. It's almost cheating.
You know what that is? It's called KTEL. KTEL albums.
Yeah, that's true.
My first album I bought was called Dynamite.
That's true. It's a mix.
It's a mix.
Yeah, but you didn't get to pick the mix.
And then
you didn't get to pick the mix.
And then you had the cover. Remember the cover albums where it wasn't the original artist, but it was bands that sound like the original
various artists. No, not
that sucked. When you got that, you were like part of the record of the club, and you get that record. It was all
and
covers.
You thought, yeah.
That's terrible. I mentioned the Freudian slippers, which is a brilliant idea.
I need that. That's great.
I'll get this for Christmas for you.
I'm going to get you the blunt roller.
Freudian's, don't please.
And a collapsible cup.
I don't need that in the house.
Oh, it's a collapsible cup for when you dip. And you can spit it and clean it out.
There you go.
I'm going to get you a collapsible cup.
Something that I was at the Titans game, watching my Bengals beat the Titans this past Sunday. People that bring their own padded seats.
We have those.
I had it.
Not for the because you want to.
First of all, the seats are small they're already small. My knees are already hitting the cup holder in front. And then I got some guy bringing this thing that's got 3 inches of padding.
Yeah.
And it sits on the seat.
Yep.
It's up again. Your ass cheeks are already touching the guy next to you.
Different.
Depending on because 30% of us are obese.
Yeah.
But you see it at Alabama games. People bring their own seats and they put their seat down. They're on a boat rudder for the next 11 days. Dude, it's a 3-hour game. Can you not sit at something hard? Are your hemorrhoids they can't handle for 3 hours?
Listen.
You're not going to be sitting at the time anyway because you're going to be standing up and cheering. But you have to have this damn seat thing. It's got the cup holders. They have personalized cushion seats.
Yeah.
Where you can put your name on it.
Yeah. We used to when my daughter played basketball, and you'd be up in like a basketball tournament, and you're sitting in the bleachers, and there's no back support, right? Because you're sitting in the bleachers, and so unless you could get the back row with the back, so we got the seats that come with their own back.
Yeah.
It was great.
When was the last time you used that seat?
The last game she played.
Which was what?
She's just about to graduate college.
So you brought a seat thing into your high school?
Everybody did. That was a thing.
Yeah, that's.
But I didn't have a collapsible.
The U Rock candle. It's a pretty idea. It's this.
Yeah.
And then the wicks are on the fingers.
Oh, I'm gonna get that for you.
I don't know if I'd burn it because then the fingers go down.
Yeah, I have a whole thing.
I'm sure there's a middle finger candle too.
I have a whole thing with candles. Like I'm not a big candles, but like
it's like almost.
You wouldn't burn it, or I get you. You got to get 3. Give me that list when we're done.
You'd have to burn them. You'd have to burn them at the same time, because then one finger will be longer than the other.
Yeah, that's true.
Craft beer advent calendar. You know the old advent where you open the little doors?
I know. I'm trying to
This is a craft beer. It looks like a Christmas tree, and each day as you get closer to Christmas, you grab yourself a brouhaha, you try a different craft beer.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's a couple feet tall. Finally, the boyfriend pillow. So something and evidently they're selling like hot cakes for single women who want to have the comfort of a boyfriend but don't want the boyfriend.
It's a blow-up doll?
It's it's the torso part. It's got a hand and it's a shirt, but it's a pillow, and the torso is actually a pillow with no arms. It's got a hand, and for those women who like to cuddle in the middle of the night and have something to hold on to, there's a lot of women like to put like pregnant women put pillows down there. You roll over and it's a boyfriend pillow, and it's shaped like a torso of a guy, so you actually think you're sleeping with a guy or you're scuttling with a guy and not having to sleep with him.
But but it's a pillow, so it doesn't.
It's a pillow.
It's not meant to feel like. It's
probably like your real boyfriend. It's squishy.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
That is super.
No head.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a pillow.
But it's a pillow with a hand.
Yeah, and it's not meant to put your head on, because you don't put your head on your boyfriend. But you ever? There was a whole Friends episode I saw a couple days ago about the whole how do you get away from your girlfriend, because a lot of guys don't like to be touched when we're sleeping.
A lot of women don't.
Yeah, but a lot of women do.
A lot of women don't.
Like they have to be touched.
Talk to a lot of women.
Like, and some guys, like if I'm already asleep and you're on all over me, I'm totally good.
Yeah.
But if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm kind of hot,
it scares you.
And your hands on, and I'm trying to push you away.
Claustrophobic. Yeah.
Okay,
but that is super.
And then you move to the side of the bed. Yeah. There was a whole Everybody Loves Raymond about that, where he actually rolled out of the bed, got on the other side of the bed, gave her the pillow, and she rolled back and got him anyway.
This is why.
That's a first world problem for men out there.
This is why we have what's called California King in our picture.
Hey, by the way, today is Antarctica Day.
Yay!
It is a Bartender Appreciation Day.
Yep.
We appreciate all of our service workers out there, and today is also Rosa Parks Day.
Rosa Parks Day?
We celebrate Rosa
That's
Parks
a big day.
Yeah. So, we got, and I found out about the Christy McVie thing yesterday from my good friend Stuart Rome, who does a show, When in Rome with Stuart Rome. By the way, go to his website right now. This is a slam dunk. No one's ever gotten anything to the Woodhouse Day Spa and went, oh.
No.
I mean, everyone is like thrilled. My 10-year-old daughter's like, please get me some pedicures. I took her there once. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. They've got a great deal going on right now. If you spend more than $350, and it's well worth every dime, they're going to throw in a full-length throw, one of those really, really soft blankets that's like 7 feet long. It'll cover your entire body. Yeah. It's worth like $150. You get that for free.
Yeah.
So you can buy someone a nice gift card and keep the throw for yourself, or maybe give that away as a gift. They also have a deal where if you buy 5 packages or whatever it is, you get the 6th one for free.
That is.
They have 110 minute. They have 110 minute. I said, does that go for anything? He's like, anything. So like a 110-minute massage, I don't know what that costs. You can buy 5 of those, you get a free one. So you get like a $200 value for free. And they have special Christmas things on their website right now, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. And they are expanding. It's not going to happen until 2023, early next year. But they took over the place next to it. They're going to have a great corporate room. They're going to expand their area for all their workers there. So they're going to be happy campers. But it's going to be
great because their existing space is not small.
No, so it's I think it's like another 2,000 square feet or something like that. So check out Birmingham.woodhousespas.com, Birmingham.woodhousespas.com, and again we'll have our podcast up a little bit later on today. It's a great show. I'm betting we'll do Fleetwood Mac music today. But he actually let me know by Christy McVie yesterday. Make sure you check out WorkPlay@WorkPlay.com for this show called Space of the Day. It's going to be going on tomorrow night. It's only $15. They got a couple of Christmas shows, early shows, late shows. They've got the Maverick Lounge, the history of grunge coming up. Check out their website, WorkPlay@WorkPlay.com. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention my good friend Al Cooper at Coosa Valley Auto Sales. People are like, I don't get time to buy a car right now. It's the holidays. Yeah, you do. It's a customer co-op situation. He has an open book. He'll tell you exactly what he'll pay for your used car, what you're going to pay for the used car, why you're going to pay for the used car. And the majority of their customers obviously are repeat buyers because they love the way they do business. The used car business is bigger than the new car business right now. But if you're going to do it, make sure you're getting the right vehicle, and they stand behind everything they put out. And on any given time, they have 40 to 50 vehicles up on their lot. They find the best used cars possible. So get after it. CoosaValleyAutoSale.com. CoosaValleyAutoSale.com. You got anything else?
We talked about it. Talked about adulting.
Adulting, yeah.
So this is not a depressing thing.
Okay.
But I think this is an important one. So you got a teenager, right?
I have two
and I think it starts when you're a teenager. This whole idea of, and we do this all the time. Life is hard. That's always where it starts out, right? Because as a teenager, particularly when you're a toddler, life is hard and you cry and you scream and thing and no one's. But when you're a teenager, is where the first part, and it's usually the first time where you feel that something is unfair, you don't want to do it. I mean, maybe not even unfair. You just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You got to go get a job.
Yeah.
You got to save money. And your parents usually at that point go, look, son, daughter, life isn't easy.
Yeah.
Life's complicated. And as a teenager, you kind of throw a little temper tantrum, and as parents, we go, you don't understand, and you'll get it. Then you hit your 20s. By the way, they've got Instagram posts about this. They have napkins about this. It's called adulting. Everywhere. Then you hit your 20s. And you're going to college maybe, or you're making money for the first time, and this is great, I'm having a good time. And then you maybe get your first apartment. I got to pay rent. Oh, that sucks. Mom, Dad, I got to pay rent. Yes, you're growing up. You have to pay rent. Wait, and I had this. I got to pay renter's insurance? Yes, or car insurance, right? What do you mean I have to pay car insurance? And all of these processes, we tell our kids, this is we use the word, this is part of growing up. Then you get to a certain point, it's probably in mid-20s, where you're doing all the grown-up things. You gotta, maybe you gotta pay your rent, you gotta pay insurance, maybe not, you have to pay your own health insurance, and 20-year-olds, really late 20s, they're like, being a grown-up sucks.
And it's expensive, yes.
And so what we say is, this is called adulting. Adulting is doing all the things that you don't want to do, that you have to, that are different than, and I was misquoting myself, it's not that they're unfair. You don't even see them as unfair. You see them more as, really? Is this really a part of life?
Yeah.
Credit cards, mortgages. And the thing that I think is really interesting about adulting is it never stops once you enter it.
Yeah.
And and again, depending on your financial circumstance and whatever, you may be entering it really early. We talk a lot of adults who we say, I've been on my own since I was 16. Well, you've been adulting since 16. Most kids, they're not adulting until this day and age, sometimes in their late 20s and 30s. But it never ends. And I think particularly as you get to 30s, 40s, 50s, you come to realize this will never end.
Yep.
All the things I got to do. And then you have a decision to make. Do I own it? Because as an adult, I'm afforded a lot of other opportunities, and the crappy part is adulting. Or do I rebel against it? I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to, have a mortgage. I don't want to be in a relationship where I've got to compromise and all this stuff. And the thing that's so interesting about it is, we've talked about this on numerous shows. It's a free world. I mean, you got to pay taxes, but it's a free world. You don't have to be in a relationship. You don't got to buy a house. You don't have to have a job. But if you want to play in adult society, then you got to do all these other things. And you and I had a conversation earlier today about some things that you and I have to do. They're different things that we just think kind of suck.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And it's this realization, though, that it's a part of our life if we choose to be in that part of life. And this is why you see the what do you call them down in Costa Rica and the Key West expatriates. Mm-hmm. People living off the grid.
Yeah.
I'm going to live off the grid.
Okay.
But you know what the thing's funny about that? I'm tired of paying taxes. I'm going to live off the grid. I'm going to say, you talk about adulting?
Yeah. it's survival at that point. It's survival. I mean, it really is. It's like...
It's super interesting. I work with a lot of up-and-coming executives or venture capitalists who they're in really fortunate positions, but they'll tell you they're in the late 30s. They're like, nobody's going to feel sorry for me. And I think this is the hardest part about adulting. Nobody feels sorry for you.
Yeah.
But you feel sorry for you. Mm-hmm. And you had it this morning. You were talking about it, and I've been talking about it. It's like, we don't want to do this. And this is the part of being a part of society. And the thing I think that's even worse about it is you have a choice.
Yep. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. And the interesting thing is, depending on where you are with your adulting, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine last night who just went through a divorce, move, is successful, but she really misses the simpler times. She's like, I remember sitting around with my friends, drinking beer in my 20s, listening to Tony Curry, and it was just so good. And I'm like, yeah, that's when you were still on the teat. You were still being taken care of. You didn't have to worry about these things. Something, and to go along with this, though, and I heard something interesting on NPR, and a lot of people are doing this, multi-generational cohabitating right now, where people are inviting grandma, well, and kids. I was trying to get this house. I got, out of the market because I either couldn't afford it, someone overbid me, and now rent's too expensive. Can I move back home? And most parents are like, absolutely. I know your daughter's going to go back home. She's going to live at the house. I don't have a problem. My mom and dad would have welcomed me back when I was 22, 23 years of age. There is a point in time where, depending on whether they want you there or not, some kids can't wait to get the hell out, but they don't want the financial responsibility. And you're like, okay, you can't have both. Some parents don't want you there, and some parents don't want to let you go. And you're not doing your kid any favors by staying there. In this particular case, and several moms are talking about this, they pick up the tab on everything. So the kids can save money so they can move out. And that's fine, but you have to realize that your finances are an open book to me. If you're not paying rent and you're not paying for food, and you got a job and you're making good money and you're stashing all your money away so you can go get your own place and do your own thing, then I get to see what you're saving every month and what you're buying and what you're doing with your money. If you don't like that, then you can move out. I love having you here, but that's the deal. So I'm trying to think. So you brought up a really interesting point, because I remember when I got my first car, I drove a piece of shit Pinto with wood paneling. And back then,
you had to be careful. Pintos exploded, didn't they?
Yeah. And back then, just to have a car, you were cool. If you were in high school and you had a car, you were cool. It wasn't a Spain Park thing where you had to have 23-inch wheels. Or my son's like, I'm not driving the minivan to school. I'm like, well, that's what we got. So you need to go buy your car. Well, guess who bought the car? So, but at some point, and maybe it coincides with when kids move out of the house, because when they move out, they're kind of on their own. Why am I still paying your car insurance? Why am I still paying your car payment? You've got a pretty decent paying job now. You're moving out. It's time to cut off. You no longer are on the team. You got to go do your thing.
And some kids, I've seen both sides. Some kids want to.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And it's important for them to know that mom and dad are always here for you.
I call it the safety net, and I always tell.
And we'll help you out if we can.
Right, it's a safety net. We are fortunate enough to be in a position that you're not going to go hungry.
Yep.
You're not going to, but you don't abuse it.
Yeah.
Because we've gone from providing everything to providing some things. Again, it's like training wheels.
Yeah.
To we're the safety net now.
Well, and I remember being broke when I moved to Louisville, Kentucky. I was making $20,000 a year, $22,000 a year. I always thought if I could make $1,000 a year for every year of my age, I was going to be in great shape.
That's interesting.
I'm 56 now. 56 grand ain't nothing.
Right.
Okay, but if I was 24, I was making 24. I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And of course, that's when rent was $250, $300 for a nice place. But I remember eating,
here we go.
1 month, man, loaf of bread and peanut butter. I mean, that's all I had. I ate Miracle Whip sandwiches. I remember taking my coin collection, and I had coins that were worth, I don't know what they're worth.
Did your parents, were they?
I never told them.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
I never told them. Listen, I was 22. I probably spent more money on going out with my friends than
okay, so you had money you chose to manage it in a way.
I wasn't probably well. I'm 22 years old, so I don't know too many 22-year-olds that are fiscally responsible.
Well,
yet.
no. But no. This is an important question. You had enough money. Let me ask you. Did you have enough money that you could have paid your rent and not eat Miracle Whip sandwiches? Had you distributed your finances differently?
It would have been. It would have been close.
Okay.
It would have been tight.
Okay. But you didn't want to ask your
when I got my
parents.
car, my car payment was $250 a month, and my dad's like, "You're paying for your own car. It's your car. You're paying for your car, and I'll do the insurance because the insurance is going to be cheaper for me to pick up your insurance."
Yep.
And then when I moved out, then I took care of my insurance. And I think it's important. It's like, and when I went to college, my dad said, "You're paying for your own college at Xavier," and I think it was at the time $7,000 something a year. Which in 1984 was.
You mean
big
it wasn't 700,000?
No, but I mean it was 1984.
Yeah.
You know, and it also mid me want to study harder because it was coming out of my pocket. It's easy to throw away someone else's money. I want to go throw away my own. And I think that was a great. And my dad was a newspaper distributor. It's not like we came from money anyway. So it was kind of like, if this is what you want to do, then this is the way it's going to work. But I never questioned him on it. I never said, "What the hell," you know. But I always knew they were there for me if I ever had any fun. But I never asked. You know, I kind of felt like once I started adulting and I was old enough to take care of myself, that I needed to do it myself.
I think a lot of kids actually...
They want to.
They want to, and I think where we make big mistakes as parents is kids want to, they're hesitant, it's scary, right? So they don't... They may not be that demonstrative about it, right? They're not, "I want to be on my own," because it's like, well, I really do want to be on my own, but I'm scared. And then we as parents, it's the mistake that we make. Don't worry, we'll take care of everything.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll take care of everything. I think I told you this. I have I've seen numerous times where kids are in college, their parents are calling or registering for classes for them. Mm-hmm. They are making doctor's appointments for them. They are literally doing everything while the kid is in college. And you think about it, I mean, talk about doing the worst thing for your child, particularly if your child is kind of on that fence, like a lot of kids are, about wanting to have some independence, but they're not being, they're not saying stop doing it. Yeah. And we just keep trying to take care and take care and take care. You never teach your child to be independent.
You know, the first 2 years I moved away to Louisville, my mom did my laundry.
How did you do that?
I met her at General Butler State Park in between Louisville and Cincinnati. Once a week, we had lunch, and she'd bring me clean clothes, and I'd give her my older clothes. That's
a good one.
But I did this for my mother. Because she wanted to do it for me.
Okay, so all right, this is why we need to have a long form podcast. So you know what I did? Because relative to you and my wife, I lived the privileged golden life, blah, blah, blah. So I was at UCLA, living in a nice apartment on the west side, but we had a coin op, which was just a pain in the, because then someone take your laundry out and everything. Mm-hmm. So once a week to dinner, I'd make a visit home. Hi, Mom! Because my mom lived 30 minutes. I'm here to be with you.
You should bring all your laundry.
Be with you. And so for the first, 6-7 times, she's great. She saw my laundry, whatever. And I think at one visit, I either didn't change over the laundry, or I think I may have taken their laundry out. And I remember my mom sort of saying, "We love when you come home. We love you being here. Don't come home to do your laundry. If that's why you're here, then we don't want to see you.
Yeah.
We don't want to see you because you got a laundry thing there. So don't," and it was a great example of be a grown-up about it. Be a little savvy about it. Do it in a way that you don't look like a stupid child doing it. And I think that's another part of adulting, is knowing how to, and my kids are particularly my oldest, very precocious. I don't understand mortgages. Help me understand mortgages and credit, And part of it was honest, and I think part of it was to sort of understand what we were giving him.
Yeah.
And, you know.
You haven't lived until you had to do your laundry in a laundromat.
Oh, I think kids now, same thing though. They're doing now the difference is they get notifications on their phone when there's an open thing, and they get notifications on their phone when it's done. But the thing that's great about that, even with the technology, is you still run into somebody left their clothes in there and they take it out.
Yeah, you got a big laundromat though, you can usually get it pretty much done. And there's something to be said about, I mean, yeah, it's just a little expensive, but to get it all done at one time is a pretty good
they have laundry services now for kids in the dorms. You just put it outside the door.
Is it through DoorDash or Uber? Uber does it? You could probably have Uber does it.
Well, it's like that. Yeah, you just put it outside the door.
Yeah.
And they charge your parents on a monthly basis.
I almost did that here at one point.
It's good. It's like a diaper thing, but it's
because when you got 3 kids, you never stop doing laundry.
It's called adulting. That was our adulting segment.
There you go. That's good stuff. All right, check out Josh's Deer Facebook. What is it called? Deer, what is it?
So last week you called it Mental Corpse.
Mental Corpse?
No, that's my Instagram. My Facebook page, Deer Chronicles.
Deer Chronicles. Check out Deer Chronicles. Josh Klapow's Deer Chronicles. By the way, I saw it.
I have almost 2,000 friends.
We do whatever it takes to get followers, and he starts putting pictures of deer up, which I see like 1 an hour around here, and you got 2,000 followers.
Somebody
your picture.
Do you know what happened the other day?
The last pic you took was really good.
It was not good?
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, it's right here.
Sad eyes, gentle.
Yeah,
I was actually.
It was. It didn't look real. It looked like an animated deer. It was so beautiful. Did you post that?
I did post that. Somebody dropped off. This is actually somebody we know, but they dropped off sweet potatoes at my house.
Yeah.
And then I had someone comment on the page the other day that you should really be giving bushels of apples. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to be polite. I'm like, I'm not flipping giving bushels of apples. They said it's not feasible.
Yeah.
And somebody offered to bring bushels of apples.
Oh, nice.
I know, but I'm not fostering the deer.
Yeah.
But like that is
but you are fostering the deer. They're expecting to be.
Well, you know, the one doe that I have not named, I will not name because it's too close of a personal connection.
Yeah.
But she literally every single morning comes out, looks just like a flippin' dog, comes to the gate, ready for breakfast.
That's great. I love that.
Dear
all right, so this is going to be our last show in our studio.
Yeah. In this studio.
Here at this studio. So next Thursday we'll be in a brand new studio. I am moving. It's bittersweet.
I know.
I use this, the door closed, another door's open
right.
up. Super blessed with all the resources and my good friends and everyone has been part of this incredible business journey with us.
He's not closing, by the way. Now make sure you just sounded like
no, man. No, we're just
this
will just be. I mean, that's why the guitars are off the wall. So I'm going to be moving over the next 2 or 3 days. It's been quite the journey. Been in this house for 18 years, 19 years. There are going to be some parts of this house I missed. There's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to be very, very happy about leaving, which is going to be a good thing. So I will always be a silver lining guy. But I'm looking forward to the brand new studio. It's going to be in Hoover. It's going to be awesome.
Where do they pick up trash?
I got to figure out where they put. We're going to put the fire pit. So we do some fire pit shows. They got a nice yard.
You better look at your contract.
Dog's going to be coming with me? Yeah, I probably will.
Just before you start burning.
Dude, the contract's 38 pages long to rent a place. I was like...
Yeah, well, because you got to cover the... But you're getting your trash picked up twice
Thank goodness I have Chris Doris, State Farm Insurance Team.
Yeah. Oh!
985-7799. They took care of me yesterday.
Did you call him?
I did. I talked to him yesterday.
About renter's insurance?
I did.
Good. There you go.
Because I had to have renter's insurance in order to get in the house.
Yes.
Yes.
I did that. My kids, not my kids.
$12 a month. I'm covered.
I did that for my daughter.
Yeah.
Chris Doris does it all.
Like if you're moving like an apartment complex, you don't need renter's insurance.
Right.
But when you're renting a house, you have to have renter's insurance. Oh, I got all that taken care of.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Don't burn anything.
I'm going with Spectrum again, which I talked about yesterday. I talked to a woman from Spectrum. She cut my bill in half and upped my speeds, which was good. I was like, I'm going to cut the cord on you. I'm done. I've been with you for 25 years. I'm not doing this. I'm not paying the $300 a month. And so she figured it out for us. It was good. So, yeah. And then I found out in Hoover, trash pickup's free.
I might bring some of my trash over.
And they come twice a week.
That's what I mean.
Like this. And they still do recycling in Hoover.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Well, you know the whole thing.
The whole recycling thing. What the hell's going on with recycling? Yeah. I go up to Herd My Park, and their recycling bin is like overflowing.
Because they're not
crap.
because in
it's
Shelby
too damn
County.
expensive.
No, because in Shelby County they cut the contract.
Yeah, because it's too expensive.
For the county.
They were going to go. They were
paying.
going to go from $5 a week to $25 a week for recycling. And I'm like, I'm doing you a favor by recycling.
Right.
I'm trying to save the world. Help me out a little bit.
Right,
Here.
but then they just cut it.
Recycling was more than trash pickup. Is what it turned out to be. Recycling was like $5 a week, and trash was like $15 or whatever. Now they're wanting to charge $35 a week for recycling. I'm like, recycling. And then I read somewhere where 90% of recycling is going in the ocean or trash anyway.
Because China won't take our recycling.
This recycling thing ain't working out.
No.
And the one up there at Herd My Park, they only take boxes. And
This is why
I dropped some plastic off there.
We don't have this. We don't have this as much here as some other places. I was just in Asheville and in Charleston and
This is
St.
the old
Louis.
man part of our show here, brother.
No, so everything is increasingly essentially biodegradable. Biodegradable cups, biodegradable straws, like all that kind of stuff. You know what? By the way,
paper straws suck. I hate paper straws. They
horrible.
don't feel good in my mouth. They crumple up.
But they're good for the environment.
And they save turtles.
They do.
But they're a pain. If you're going to give me a paper straw, just let me drink out of the top.
By the way, we have a complaint. We love Chick-fil-A. We love the food and everything. They still use styrofoam cups, which is really interesting. Because they have
bad.
What?
Those are bad.
Oh, they're horrible. Styrofoam never,
You ever see someone drink coffee with a straw? I had a friend of mine.
Iced coffee.
Like regular coffee.
Hot coffee with a straw?
With a straw. No,
that's
weird.
dangerous. You can burn your...
With the straw stirrer.
Okay.
A little strange.
You should...
All right, have yourself a great day. Download the TKR app, Tony Curry Radio, and Android, Tony Curry, it's Curry with a K. The TKR app, we've got tens of thousands of followers that listen to classic rock every day. We have shows that go from 9 o'clock in the morning all the way to 8 o'clock at night. I'll be recording Mark Ingram today. Be looking for my UAB Director's Chair podcast. It'll be up later this afternoon. We'll be talking about Trent Dilfer. The basketball program's on fire. Gaines had the fourth best play on ESPN last night, the top 10 play. The basketball team's fantastic. And then we'll be doing a show, When in Rome, with Stuart Rome from the Woodhouse Day Spot today as well. So be looking for this podcast. And just go to our Facebook page, Tony Curry Radio Facebook page, and you can check out all of our shows. David Sears and James Michael Keats, my two guys that work with me, do fantastic work. And we'll be set up in our new digs next week.
Looking forward to it.
It's going to be great. Have a great day.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.